Welcome everyone. Let's talk about historical white tie. And this is actually everything you need. A white bow tie and a black tailcoat. For everything else, we have options. Let's go through those options. We're starting off with a white shirt that has a stiff front and single cuffs. For the single cuffs, you will need cufflinks. For the stiff front, you need separate shirt studs. They either look like this or this. For the separate collar, you have your collar studs, a short one for the back and a long one for the front. You can either wear a wing collar or an imperial collar. I do prefer the imperial one. Next up, trousers. Mine are newly made with a single galon. You might find tailcoat trousers with double galons. I think that's unnecessary, an option, but unnecessary. Probably some tailor had the idea to sell more trousers, so they said you have to have 2 galons for the tailcoat and just 1 for the smoking or dinner jacket. So yeah, I don't think that is really necessary, so I'm just using this. You can use white braces just like me, but fancy ones are fine as well. You can't even see them under the waistcoat, so do your thing. This is one of the pieces where you don't have any creative wiggle room. The white bow tie, of course. This one's made from a seller. I think the bow tie is antique. I can't tell you how old exactly, but I love it. So to cover our waist, we have several options. In the 1890s, there was a brief period where even cummerbunds were acceptable for white tie in black or white, of course, but I can't seem to find my black cummerbund. And preferably one of the early versions which were bound more like a sash than the cummerbunds we know today. Next option would be a fancy waistcoat. I mean, this is green, which is quite colorful kind of waistcoat you could wear. Most of the fancy waistcoats you would wear to white tie were still like mainly white or cream. Next option is a black waistcoat, because it's called white tie, not white waistcoat. So believe it or not, black waistcoats for white tie were totally acceptable. Then we have, well, fake waistcoats, basically something similar to a cummerbund as they are constructed today and just fastened in the back. Of course, you can wear a white waistcoat, which I actually don't have. I prefer my tartan waistcoat. On your feet, you should wear opera pumps. Usually made from patent leather. Mine are made from velvet. Not very historical, but I love them to death. The main piece, of which I'm very proud because it's a French 1920s tailcoat I bought in London. You might be wondering that I probably didn't buy the trousers that belong to the tailcoat, which is right. And normally you should be very cautious about that. On the other hand, this is an antique, excellent condition tailcoat. So if you don't have the trousers, you will have to combine them with something else. And since it's black, the contrast is not that big of a problem. Final touches. For outerwear, I recommend a black Inverness coat. I made this one myself. Well, maybe it's more like an Inverness cape than a coat because it doesn't have sleeves, but that is usually warm enough for me. For headwear, we have 3 options, all of which are black top hats. The first one is a felt one. Maybe the easiest way because of accessibility, but also the most rustic version you can do. This is from Christie's. Definitely works with the outfit. Option number 2, the classic opera hat or collapsible top hat or chapeau claque, which means this is silk with a spring mechanism so you can fold it down, which is actually really cool, so you can store it under your seat in case you actually go to the opera or to the cinema. I also have a secret compartment in my Inverness cape, so I can store the opera hat in there. This one's, I think, 70 years old. Also works well with the outfit. And finally, my favorite option, a silk fur top hat, which are very hard to find because they're not produced anymore. And there are not left of them. So if you find one that fits your head, buy it. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Off we go now.